2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 streets were bid out this year. Some are on the list, some have been added because of. So the ones that we bid out was Overlook, which is, there's a portion of road in front of 658 that's completely gravel that we provide city services to, that I can't explain why that's completely gravel, but it's just a...
Overlook, that's the one up west, so it's past west?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Arden Street, which is over side street off of Jackson from end to end on Arden. Cedar Street, we kind of combined Cedar and Beverly because they're within each other in the pecking order of streets, and it made too much sense to go ahead and combine those two as one to get a better price with the deployment of equipment and things. So Cedar Street is from Allegheny Avenue up to Cypress, and Beverly from Cedar to the end of it, to combine, put all that together. We added the Chestnut Street underpass. It's not in the top whatever, but we added Chestnut Street underpass with milling and working hopefully with MPW to see what we can do with the drain down there and make that a little better passageway. So that was bid. Hughes Street, the portion of Hughes Street is from 444 Hugh up to 518 Overlook. So 518 Overlook, that's just about where Mrs. Fitzgerald lives going up there. That's where the new pavement started when they developed the subdivision up there. And East McDonald to Allegheny. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 streets came in at $277,256. Mr. Goodman and you folks and BB were kind enough to give me $275,000 to go to work in paving in 2019-2020. So I'll look at in the budget and try to find another $2,256, and those will be the streets that we will address this coming paving season. Hawthorne Street, from the Hawthorne Street Bridge to Monroe, and from Monroe up to Allegheny, that was also on the list, but it did not make that $275,000. And Hillcrest Drive was also bid, and it didn't quite make the list. There are some things up along Hillcrest that we are in need of addressing, which we'll be able to do within the confines of the budget. But Dry Run Holler, as it gets a little bit of water in it, which it's done so over the last year and a half, it's starting to erode into the bank and undermine some of our road up there. So we have some issues from street safety and erosion that we, through the Public Works Department and some contractors, will need to address a couple of areas where we're starting to undermine our road up there. That will be done in this fiscal year, of course. The next thing that we will want to seriously look at is the ownership of the rock wall as you come into Hillcrest Drive. I found a stake up there, and the stake shows that perhaps those rocks are on our side, but I'll have to have that survey to confirm. Bottom line is, it's probably another winter freeze and a spring thaw from being ours regardless, because it's heading to the road. It's really bad. We could not, until we address those two things, it's going to be tough to even do pavement because you just can't get equipment in there to do what needs to be done. So that's where we're at with paving going into this season. Any questions you folks might have, please feel free to ask. As we get into 2020, 2021 paving, we'll look at our next list, but we're going to have to address some other things because we have some streets right now, and Marion is at the top of my list. It's in pretty bad shape. We're going to have to skip around and do some of the really bad things where heavy traffic is at. And Marion is certainly one of those that's at the top of my list. At some point, we will need to address some issues with Jackson Street. Where are we going to go in the future with that down there? Because We do have heavy truck traffic moving around Covington now in that section of the community, and we just finished a several-month project that has also put a lot of heavy trucks on there. So we're going to need to give some serious thought to what do we do with that. So, any questions about 2019, 2020 paving?
What's the status of the supplemental funding from VDOT for Allegheny?
It's on somebody's desk in the fine city of Richmond.
But it's been approved.
It's been
It
approved.
just needs to be found.
It just needs to be
How much was that?
ballpark, give or take a couple, 460,000. And that will go from Covington Tire, where we have stopped, to the bottom of Hemlock, where we stopped. It'll get that whole stretch.
100% free.
Excuse me?
No match.
No match. Yeah, that's
It's all state funded.
all state funded.
VDOT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Hugh Street and Overlook. There was a time that somebody did some tar and gravel. Is that where the gravel is now?
I don't know.
JJ's house.
I just know that at 658 Overlook, it's just gravel. And it's just a short stretch.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's JJ's house.
Yes.
Seems to me he told me at one point that he might have put some tar down, but then it got dug up through
I don't know.
weather. Seems to me he tried to tell me,
It was several years
So
ago.
what are you
that I
gonna
brought
do?
that up, and then they went up,
Overlay what he's got there.
put down something up there.
It's a firm surface, and it just needs to be.
It just needs overlay. You don't have to do anything to.
No, we don't have to get involved in construction. No.
And then Hugh Street. Is that
Hugh-
overlay?
Yes, we don't want to. Yeah,
Overlay.
it's grinded on its own. Yeah, it's an overlay. Yeah, but in Hugh Street is on the pecking order going down, but that section, and it's about. We picked, well, what did I tell you, 444, which is just probably down from where Mr. Furman used to live, back then that general neighborhood. But that section of road going up towards where Miss Miss Fitzgerald is, it's horrible. It's just horrible. So we figured while we was up there, we address that. So
That may be the part that Public Works just shot some tar and gravel through.
and it could be. I mean, it was pre-Allen, so I'm not real sure.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
JJ put the gravel.
yeah, he put gravel down. That's right.
Any other questions?
Roundup.
We're using some meal asphalt in alleys, yes, sir, in our patchwork.
The one up between Oak and Pine. Fast as y'all grade that, it's coming, no sooner it rains, it's coming right back. Is there any way y'all could do that, do that out?
Alley between Oak and Pine.
Yeah.
Is that behind Pine Street Baptist?
Yeah. Okay. And as we discussed before, our alleys, much like our streets, need a lot of attention. And in some cases with our alleys, we need to get with surveyors and survey alleys and get in with motor graders and do a complete overhaul of some of our alleys. And as much as they affect our residents, they affect us as well, particularly from our refuse collection. It's just,
Equipment's going up and down that alley, we have a hard time.
it's just bad.
I know.
And we've got some areas it affects us in our refuse collection that folks have literally encroached on the alley and they got an outbuilding and we're limited with getting our trucks up and down through there. But
Just for future budget, there's basically 7 streets here because he combined 2 into 1. So you have 7 streets you're going to pay $275,000. You need to pay more than 7 streets a day, a year. I mean, 7 streets a day would be great,
Yeah.
but you need to pay more than 7 streets a year to really get the program going. We will, like Mr. Crozier said, we'll never catch up if we don't. And I think, Alan, you had that long list, and there is a need. So we increased it to 100,000 this year. Hopefully in next year's budget you increase it another 100 or 200,000 for paving. That would get you to 375 or 475. Then you could be doing 14 or 15 streets a year, and depending upon the condition. Well, that's from operating, not borrow. We don't want to borrow any money. We can't borrow money. But I'm talking about you're going to have to prioritize your operating budget and make some reductions and possibly look at other revenue enhancements.
Round up.
We're using some meal asphalt in alleys, yes, sir, in our patchwork.
The one up between Oak and Pine. Fast as y'all grade that, it's coming, no sooner it rains, it's coming right back. Is there any way y'all could do that, do that out?
Alley between Oak and Pine.
Yeah.
That behind Pine Street Baptist?
Yeah.
Okay. And as we discussed before, our alleys, much like our streets, need a lot of attention. And in some cases with our alleys, we need to get with surveyors and survey alleys and get in with motor graders and do a complete overhaul of some of our alleys. And as much as they affect our residents, they affect us as well, particularly from our refuse collection. It's just,
Equipment's going up and down that alley, just have a hard time.
it's just bad.
I know.
And we've got some areas it affects us in our refuse collection that folks have literally encroached on the alley and they've got an outbuilding and we're limited with getting our trucks up and down through there. But
Just for future budget, there's basically 7 streets here because he combined 2 into 1. So you have 7 streets you're going to pay, $275,000. You need to pay more than 7 streets a day, a year. I mean, 7 streets a day would be great.
Yeah.
But you need to pay more than 7 streets a year to really get our program going. We will, like Mr. Crozier said, we'll never catch up if we don't. And I think, Alan, you had that long list, and there is a need. So we increased it $100,000 this year. Hopefully in next year's budget you increase it another $100,000 or $200,000 for paving. That would get you to $375,000 or $475,000. Then you could be doing 14 or 15 streets a year, and depending upon the condition. Well, that's from operating, not borrow. We don't want to borrow any money. We can't borrow money. But I'm talking about you're going to have to prioritize your operating budget and make some reductions and possibly look at other revenue enhancements.